Good morning, everyone. Today is Monday, the 30th of March. We're all gathering here to do this morning chanting to show our respect to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. And thank you, everyone, for participating in this morning chanting with us. I will read out from this book about continuing from previous chapter, becoming a Buddhist. So this book is on how to become a Buddhist. I damaged my back last 2 days ago. Okay. Among the desirable things in the world, all right-thinking person declares that the right attitude or right aim is the most desirable and the most precious. Indeed, a person with a good heart cultivates this noble practice. Without a right attitude, honesty is destroyed and progress is without value. Mind must be clear, bright, with right attitude, accompanied by a moral conscience. Thus, a person attains honesty, straightforwardness, love of truth in all circumstances, as he is fortified with this noble virtue. Self-confidence is gained thereby. The Buddha Dhamma, faith in the Triple Zim, is taken without any influence of a fear, internal or external. No compulsion or forceful conversion is used in Buddhism. Faith is taken without a sense of a fear or a hope for a forward or a for a reward or profit or status. Buddhism seeks no state power to have converts. Freely and clearly, a person teaches, learns, discusses with regards to the teachings of the Buddha, and if clear understanding arises, he or she just decides for higher morality, concentration, and wisdom. In fact, Buddhism is not a religion as defined in other great religions. It is different from them as conversion, rites and rituals, prayers, worship, atonements, etc. are necessary for liberation. Yeah? So, that's why we have to remember that we take a refuge on the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha, not because of the fear. That if you don't worship, like here we do always every morning, evening chanting, we come to worship or do this prayer, the evening and morning chanting, not because of the fear that the Buddha will punish us, or not because the Buddha will not grant you to enter the heavens. And also this is voluntarily done. You are not forced to do it. You're volunteering to do it. Not like in some of the other organized religions, you must attain the religious places on a certain time or certain days. And then meantime, doing such things, we also not expect any rewards, but we are basically doing it hoping that it helps us to get more knowledge and more understanding. And which is another reason why many Buddhists call themselves as a Buddhist, but hardly they will spend doing any chantings or even visiting the temples or monastery. Even then they come to temple, they even do not visit the Buddha. That's very common. Otherwise, suppose if other temples, like if you're visiting other religious places, you go and you pay respect to their let's say God. And if you don't do it, there is a fear that God may punish you or punishing because ignoring the God in the presence. That's not the case in Buddhism. And with that, not having a fear and not having this punishment that a Buddha will punish, often Buddhists themselves take it so easy that they even forgot to practice or even show their respect to the Buddha. So that's why even they come to the temple, very few people would go and bow down in front of the Buddha to pay respect, which is very different. So that's why as a Buddhist, and if we have a real faith and a confidence, so-called achala saddha, the unshakable faith you have in the Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha, then whenever you see the Buddha, you will be paying respect to him without no conditions. I remember there was one monk who studied the Dhamma so well, and he was, when I met him, he was only about 26, 27 years old, but he had such a great faith in the Buddha, the Dhamma and the Sangha that he does not listen any other than the Buddha Dhamma. He does not read other than the Buddha Dhamma. And so with that he acquired so much knowledge on Buddhism. I call him like a library, Buddhist library. He remembers so much. And then, because of that, the faith, the unshakable faith he has on the Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha, whenever he sees the Buddha, whether the statue, whether the picture, whether the name, the word, the Buddha, he simply paid respect, out of respect. So humbly he pays respects to the statues and the pictures. And after seeing for some times, then I asked him that why you highly respect the Buddha and his statue or even his pictures. And he said that the Buddha was someone who taught us how to overcome suffering. And this is also a cause that paying respect to the Buddha and his pictures is also a good cause, shaping my mind. He said that he was shaping his mind towards the wholesome in every step possible. And I was stunned by listening that answer. So similarly, if we are real, if we have a real faith in the Buddha Dhamma Sangha and have seen the qualities of the Buddha from not just the reading and not just the um, listening, but from our own heart, then we will be respecting the Buddha utmost. Which that's why many Buddhists, doesn't matter from where, everyone, they normally do not even pay respect to the Buddha. Which again, I think is the downfall of not having a fear, which also the Buddha never created any fear on somebody or anybody if they do not pay respect, because Buddha's teachings is pointing at the wisdom. And one who has understood the Dhamma, then they will automatically pay respect to the Buddha anytime, at all the time, whenever they see the Buddha. So by means of a knowledge and insight, one sees and follows the statue of a true Buddha, excellent Dhamma, and a venerable Sangha. Since these incomparable triple gem are free from all mental and spiritual defilements, those who practice the Eightfold Noble Path or the Dhamma will certainly reach a state of both physical and mental happiness. So finally, and also will be the cause to attain the Nibbana, the supreme peace, which is termed also supreme happiness, called Santi Sukha. In order to be saved ourselves from falling into the four awful, unhappy, which is called apaya states, we take a refuge in a triple gem. So we take a refuge in the triple gem not because of the fear or because of expectation of the name and of fame, but we take it to practice the Dhamma so that we can attain the liberation. That's why when we take a refuge, triple gem, we say Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, Dhammang Saranang Gacchami, Sanghang Saranang Gacchami for 3 times. Which basically means I go to the Buddha as my refuge, or for refuge. Right? Or taking a Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha as a refuge. Which is in Pali called Saranagamana. Saranagamana. Gamana means going, Sarana means taking. And here we take a refuge simply with a clear understanding that these triple gem is a greatest incomparable, the treasure. It also means that we are paying high respect, homage, with a great confidence. And in fact, the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha alone are worthy of a veneration and a respect because they are true and real objects of a homage. They inspire and evoke wholesome consciousness, or so-called volitional or a will, in paying due respect to the worthy ones. Confidence and insight give Mahakusala Chitta, or the great wholesome mental state with its associated mental factors. Thus, the noble and a sacred act of the taking highest refuge is called Saranagamana. And the highest respect is the veneration to the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. So they become object of a worship. The three greatest reliable and worthy ones. So it is significant that one needs to have a basic knowledge of the virtue of the three worthies in order to give rise of a great wholesome mental state. Together with suitable mental factors, then only such a declaration by solemn utterance of above sacred words of a taking refuge must be performed. Mere thinking or imagination is not enough. The declaration is necessary for emphasis and determination. In many Buddhist countries, the taking a refuge is done in the presence of a monk and saying that I go to Buddha for my refuge and etc. Now, although moral practice can be kept without taking refuge in the triple gems, moral life with the triple gem is the highest state, should be attained sooner or later. Since the Buddha alone can teach the way to attain the higher morality, concentration, and wisdom, it is better to put the mind on the path charted out by the fully enlightened one, the Buddha. So at the beginning of sacred acts, the taking of three refuges must be done. Afterward, 5 precepts or 8 precepts or 10 precepts and should be observed. This procedure gives a more powerful and a sacred benefit for a good-hearted devotees. It signifies and amplifies, exemplifies higher state of holy things in life, bringing glory and a sacred life as well. When young children worship to the Buddha, whether the statue or whether the image, if you don't have any statue, they do only at the instructions of their parents without knowledge, but they imitate. So if any parents want their children to learn such a great virtue, they have to show, they have to do it by themselves and then show them. So the children to do it. Like when you come to the temple, rather than going to anywhere else or doing anything else, first of all, bring them to in front of the Buddha and pay respect. So these simple acts, doing it again and again, they learn. Although it wasn't with the knowledge at that time, but they will do it following their parents. Despite being immature at that time, they follow the traditional methods and they're doing so. But as they grow old, they will understand that these little acts actually has a deep meaning. And this deep meaning, beginning from getting a peace of mind, happiness, and also without knowing, finding that there is the triple gem I have in my heart, and that progresses. So the benefit as a result, we have to teach them when they are still young. But once they are old, even thinking to bring them to the temple is hard enough. They won't come. And then when they don't come, not only they feel lost when they come across with the problems, they also don't know how to find my mental peace. There was the story. There was one story during the time of Vipassana. The Buddha, the previous Buddha, a poor man, was supporting his parents. He worked as a manual laborer. He gave great respect to his parents because they were benefactors. At that time, the lifespan of the humans were so long. And there, the right-hand disciples of that time was a Nisabha under whom this gentleman took the 3 refuges and observed the noble five precepts. Precepts with mindfulness and a diligent in a moral life. So due to the blessings and the faith in the triple gem, and without violating, he always paid respect, never missed. And according to the scripture, it suggests that after he died, he was reborn in a Deva world or celestial beings, so-called the Tavatingsa. So due to his sacred meritorious deeds, he received the superior respect from other celestial beings, and he was received great benefit. And from that on, he also was reborn as the kings and as a chiefman in many places, many times. So when he was, and later on, when he was 7 years old, went to the monastery. One time, after reborning in many places, many lifetimes, eventually he was reborn as a human during the time of the Buddha. And as 7 years old, his mind was conditioned that he wanted to go to the temple and get the triple gem. So he requested his parents to take him to the monastery, and he took the triple gem again. So later on, as his age matured, and he became a monk, and with a diligent practice, he attained the liberation. Similar story like a lady ogre or a demon. She was the demon was basically interchanging two demons. One so it took place in the Rajagaha city. Once there were two young friends playing dice. A true believer, when his turn came, and declared that he said Namo Buddhaya. So this is the boy, not the lady. This boy was saved by a demon simply because he took a refuge and remember that he has got this triple gem as his back. So when he was left in the forest alone, and these demons were about to harm him, having heard the noise, he recited that Namo Buddhaya, so pay respect to the Buddha. Having heard that, rather than harming him, they look after until his parents came and collected him. So that's why these are some of the benefits that described, but most importantly, taking a refuge on the Buddha Dhamma Sangha is basically understanding that the life is suffering, and the suffering has a cause, and the suffering can be ended. So that requires wisdom and knowledge. So I think I have spoken too long today, along with reading the book. So with this, we stop here and let's do the chanting.